What's going on, everybody? It's Joel here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the NoBull canvas trainer. So I bought these right when they first came out. This is the original pair that I got early in 2018, and I for some reason just didn't review them just because I didn't really think that they were all that popular. Judging by the comments that I got on Instagram, nobody really liked the way that they looked, but I never really found them to be all that bad as far as appearance goes and design wise. I always kind of rag on NoBull on Instagram for not really updating the design of their actual super fabric trainer, but I guess the canvas upper kind of counts as an update. A little bit of a budget update, but it's still kind of an update. And then you also have, I guess, their leather and suede trainers, which are kind of like updates. But anyways, back to the canvas trainer. So the main difference between the canvas trainer and the super fabric trainer, obviously, is that instead of the super fabric upper, which is kind of like NoBull's like claim to fame thing, the canvas models have just a fully canvas upper. So you have two different types of materials. You have a kind of more flexible upper material. The ankle collar is like perforated, so you get a little bit better ventilation there. And then there is a rim that goes pretty much all around the shoe, and that's a sturdier canvas material. The material actually is pretty nice. It's comfortable, it's flexible, it's breathable, and I really don't have too many complaints about it. Some people don't like the way that these shoes look, but like I said, I don't mind it. I think these shoes actually look pretty clean, and depending on the colorway, I think some of them are actually pretty good looking. Like the other canvas trainers that I own are the denim ones, and I think those ones are really sick. They're super clean. Other than that, you know, there's not a whole lot going on in the upper. It's a NoBull shoe. They're very plain and basic designs. There's a little bit of a backstrap at the heel of the shoe. It has the little NoBull horns. The tongue is a like just double-sided canvas kind of material. It's pretty basic, but it's fine. I never had any issues with it. There's no like straps on the side or anything, so really the only thing that's holding it in place, and I know a lot of people had this problem with NoBull shoes, is that their tongue kind of slides around. Not really an issue for me, but the only thing holding it in place is if you lace the laces through it. Laces are fine. They're just flat, basic laces, but they stay tied, so can't really complain about them. Just normal eyelets, nothing fancy with the lacing system. I guess it doesn't really need to have anything there, but otherwise, yeah, that is the upper of the canvas trainers. And I really like the fact that it is flexible and moves with your feet pretty well. My biggest complaint with the super fabric trainers is that if you don't wear them all the time, it takes forever to break the upper in and for it to be comfortable. There's a lot of like hot spots and crumply areas on the normal super fabric, but the canvas trainer just breaks in really well. It's comfortable from day one, and that's what I really like about this shoe. The lower part of the shoe is the same exact outsole, midsole design that you're going to find on the super fabric trainer. It's just got a flat, dense midsole. There's really nothing going on there. It serves its purpose. It's dense. It's got pretty good power transfer. It's not the most supportive outsole and midsole combination, and that's one thing that's kind of exacerbated with the canvas trainers. There's not a whole lot of midfoot support, so it kind of feels like your arches are just kind of crumbling over in this shoe. I tend to find myself underpronating a lot when I wear my canvas trainers, but for most lifting, it's not really that big a deal. The outsole material is that same multi-directional tread pattern. It's like a bunch of little circles. I never really had any issues with the outsole of NoBull shoes, so I once again can't really complain there. The sidewalls come up just a little bit on the lateral and medial sides. You do get a little bit more traction in the medial side for if you wanted to do rope climbs, but that's about it. And the shoe does have a 4mm drop. That's about it. Just a real basic design from NoBull. So when it comes to sizing your canvas trainers, I'm going to say go with your normal training shoe size. I got these in a size 10, which is my normal size. I get my normal NoBulls in a size 10 as well. These do feel a little bit bigger, and I think that's just because of the upper. It doesn't really have a shape to it like the normal NoBulls do. So it will feel a little bit more open inside. If you were like in between sizes, I'd probably say go down a size, but otherwise for me, I feel like true to size works for me with this shoe. You kind of have to just understand that just because of the nature of it being canvas, it's going to be a little bit looser than your standard super fabric. So I don't really have any issues with that. And if you had a wider foot overall, I would say that the canvas trainers are probably the better choice over the super fabric ones. Not that I think that those are narrow shoes by any means. I just think that the canvas ones are a much more open shoe in the inside. So personally, I like the canvas trainers more than the super fabric trainers. And the reason for that is because they're just a lot more flexible. They're, for me, more comfortable to wear day to day. There's really nothing going on to hold the shoe back. There's that just canvas upper. It flexes, it moves with your feet really well. I think some people might actually think that it's a little bit too flexible because it can feel a little bit unsupportive, especially in the midfoot of the shoe. But otherwise, it's a pretty easy shoe to wear around for day-to-day training. I still think that it's plenty stable, and we'll get to that in just one second. But doing any kind of plyometric movements in the canvas trainers is excellent. I think that running is a little bit easier to do in these shoes just because they move with your feet a little bit better. Like I said, they do not have the best support in the midfoot of the shoe, so if you needed something that kind of cradled your arch a little bit better, you probably want to go with the normal super fabric trainers. Burpees, pretty easy to do. Flexible toe box, pretty comfortable on the feet. Box jumps, like I said, once again, pretty easy to do. But also keep in mind that there's not a whole lot of midsole or insole cushioning with this shoe. It does have a more basic platform to it, but some people are going to like that. I feel like that tends to lend itself a little bit more to the responsiveness of the lower that NoBull uses. So when it comes to the stability of the canvas trainers, I felt like they're actually pretty adequate. These wouldn't be my first choice for like a 1-rep max shoe, but I have hit some pretty heavy weights in these shoes. The only thing that I would say would detract from the overall stability of the shoe is just that they're really flexible and there's not a whole lot of midfoot support. So when you go for some of your heavier lifts, when you land some of your ollie lifts, I do feel like my foot tends to want to roll inwards just because of the lack of like instep support. For most weights that you're going to find in a WOD, they're going to be plenty fine. I did hit a 3-rep max front squat in these shoes at 335. Olympic weightlifting in these shoes, like I said, wouldn't be my first choice just because I feel like they're not all that supportive. But, you know, barbell cycling, the stuff that you're going to do in a typical CrossFit workout, the weights that you're doing in a typical CrossFit workout, they're plenty fine for. Stability, doing box jumps is fine. Rebounding is excellent in these shoes. They are very responsive because there really isn't a whole lot of midsole cushion going on. And I find for like general lifting stuff, the NoBull canvas trainers are going to be plenty fine. But like I said, if you wanted to go for like 1-rep max stuff, I would say you're probably better off sticking with the super fabric trainer. So when it comes down to it, the canvas trainers retail for $100. They are a budget-friendly shoe, and to be honest with you, I think that they're one of the best budget-friendly CrossFit shoes. They're only $100. A lot of people like to think that NoBulls are kind of expensive, but I don't really see that. The normal super fabric trainer is $130. That falls right in line with the MSRP of like Nanos or Metcons. So they're not really all that much more expensive. They just don't have sales on them. Unless you're a first responder or military, then you do get a little bit of a discount on your NoBulls. So all in all, I'd say that if you're looking for a budget trainer or just like a trainer that you could wear around casually and also bring inside the box, something that you might want to use on like vacation for like a single shoe for travel, then I think that the NoBull canvas trainers are actually pretty good. And these are my preferred shoe from NoBull just in general. I think that they're just the most comfortable to wear. And personally, I don't actually mind 1-rep maxing or doing pretty much anything in my NoBull canvas trainers. So if you guys have any questions about the canvas trainers from NoBull, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And as always guys, please hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.